Now, moving on to the next segment. And finally, we have some good news. It seems like since this administration started, it seems like we don't get many good news. It seems like everything is so dark and there's no light at the end of the tunnel. But thankfully, the court system is bringing good news, and it's given us a little faith that the judicial system works and it's doing what they're supposed to. And the story that I want to get here is that a judge blocks shutdown layoffs after finding Trump's actions are likely illegal. All right, so we're just talking about AFG's president, Everett Kelly. And talking about AFG, this is something positive that AFG is doing. And we have to realize, and before I go on with the rest of the story, I just want to say, your union is working for you, okay? If you think your union isn't working, if you think the union's inactive, if you even think that there's no union at all, here's evidence that your union is working for you, okay? And these type of wins are because of unions. So if you want to stop supporting unions, you're really not doing yourself a favor, because unions are the only stop between this administration and workplace rights and civil rights in general. I mean, really, unions are still fighting for you. And I just want to put this in here. We just got news from our local union here where I work at, that we've had a positive outcome. We've had two, actually. We had a major win for one of our employees who was faced for being fired unjustly. And your union, your local union, for those who work at the VA where I work at, and you know who you are. I'm not going to go into details about that, but my viewers know, most of them know where we work at, because a lot of them are coworkers and whatnot. So listen to this. We had a major win. The union that they say that you don't have, the union that they say that it's not working, we saved somebody's job, okay? And not only that, we have another case that we're representing that's actually going to get some legal representation under us. And I'm not going to go into much details about that other than just letting you know. Your union is still working. Your union is still here. Your union is winning cases, okay? So it's not just at a local, it's not just at a national level, but at a local level, unions are still fighting. All right. So let's stop being so selfish and thinking about ourselves and thinking about how much money we can save. Because at the end of the day, if you don't support your union, you're gonna lose your workplace rights. We're gonna lose our civil rights in general. We're gonna regret it. We're gonna come to a point where we regret it. So we have to make sure we stand our ground. All right. Unions are still fighting. So going back to the story, the Trump administration was using the shutdown to determine that the laws don't apply to them anymore, California-based U.S. District Judge Susan Elston said during a hearing, and to pick and choose which parts of the government it wants to permanently eliminate. She called guidance that the Office of Management and Budget issued prior to the funding lapse, instructing agencies to make reductions at programs that no longer have authorized funding, completely untrue. So, man, big applause for Judge Elston. I mean, I've seen different things come up from Judge Elston, and I think she really has her head where it should be. And she's looking at the whole picture, and she can see that this administration is trying to blatantly take advantage. And actually, we see that at the next sentence here. The Trump administration has taken advantage of the lapse in government spending, in government functioning, to assume that all bets are off, that the laws don't apply to them anymore. This was said by Judge Elston. And, quote, that they can impose the structures that they like on a government situation that they don't like. And I believe that the plaintiffs will demonstrate ultimately that what's being done here is both illegal and is an excess of authority. All right, so this is what we're seeing from this administration. It blatant reach and excess of authority. It's abuse of authority, honestly. But I'm so glad that we have judges like this that can see beyond party lines, beyond political talking points, and understands truly what this administration is doing and can articulate the threats that this administration poses on our rights. So very well done, Judge Elston. I think that, and let me go into this part, is that, there's been a push from the right, okay? And again, I'm getting into political sides, but I'm not getting into any sides. I'm not wanting to defend one side or the other, but I have to call things as they are, okay? And there's been a push from the right to distract the public into realizing that there is a whole agenda behind this government shutdown. They don't want you to realize that this shutdown has a purpose and a meaning, and they are trying to distract, and they're doing everything they can to make sure that people don't know what they're trying to do. This administration likes to play the blame game. They blame Democrats, they blame undocumented immigrants, and in the background, they celebrate as they try to get away with illegal mass layoffs in the federal workforce, wanting to eliminate employees who they don't like because of their political affiliations. And this is set straight from the horse's mouth. All right, so let's take a look at the next clip.
On the shutdown, sir, are FBI officials being paid right now? Are all the FBI employees being paid, and are all the...
Well, that's what I understand. I hope so.
Thanks to your great work, Mr. President, the 1811 special agents at the FBI are going to receive their paychecks.
Got a lot of people paid, actually.
All right. Let's pause here because it's a little longer video, and I need to break down pieces of it. All right. So we have to understand what's going on here. So this press conference was very revealing, although not really. If you have eyes and ears and are not blinded by political affiliations and parties and loyalties to Trump. But for those who think that Trump is doing this because he cares about Americans, okay, and is fighting against legal immigration, here's the facts. All right. So we have Trump here being asked if the FBI, which is under the control of the most incompetent and underqualified FBI director, Kash Patel. He was being asked if the FBI employees are being paid during this shutdown. Okay, and when they asked about it, they were asking about all of the FBI employees. Okay, and we have to pay attention to what Trump said here because it's very disingenuous what he did. All right, so Trump said, well, that's what I understand. I hope so. These are his words. And then he looks at Kash Patel, and his immediate response was, thanks to your great work, Mr. President, the 1811 special agents at the FBI are going to receive their paychecks. So before we dig in further into that, I just want to say this. Why do people have to praise Trump before they say something? Why does his cabinet, anytime they're going to respond to something, any questions that he asks, anytime they're going to respond to something, they have to, it's like it's like I don't know how you say it in English, but it's like Our Father, like the prayer in the Bible, where you have to start praising the Father. And these people are praising the president every time. The first word that has to come out of their mouths is a praise to Trump, because this is all they want to do. They want to please the man, no matter what the consequences are, and no matter what the law says, no matter what the effects are in the American people. Okay, so we have Kash Patel's answer here. After he fulfills this primal instinct and urge to praise the dear leader, and the MAGA deity that he is, he says, and I want to go back to his quote. He says, "Thanks to you, to your great work, Mr. President, the 1811 special agents at the FBI are going to receive their paychecks." Okay, so essentially he's saying he didn't say that everybody's getting paid. He said that the 1811 special agents are going to. So two parts. One, not everybody's getting paid. Only those who are in a position. So the 1811 special agents are those who can make arrests, who carry guns. So these type of people, they will be going to. So not only not every employee is getting paid, but also they haven't gotten paid because they're going to receive their paychecks, right? So it's a two-part issue that we're trying to break down here. And then what happens after this? Look at what Trump's response is after he says that, and he goes into an automatic defense mode, because one of the things that Patel does often is that he will answer the question, and he will answer not in the way that Trump wants him to answer. And then Trump has to jump in and try to correct him. So let's watch what Trump says afterwards.
We got the people that we want paid, okay? And we want the FBI paid, we want the military paid. We got the people that we want paid. And I'll tell you, the Democrats, they don't talk about this. You know, we're getting rid of programs that we didn't like, but that were negotiated in, but we didn't like.
Okay. Now, this is the second part that I want to touch into. And it's that it is very telling on what Trump is trying to do through this government shutdown. Okay. He's politicizing and making sure that the people that get paid is the people that he wants to get paid. We got, and this is quote, "We got the people that we want paid. And he goes on to brag about terminating Democratic jobs and quote, Russell Vought is really terminating tremendous numbers of Democrat projects. This is not only jobs, and he goes, let's listen to the rest.
Those programs, and they're going to be terminated on a permanent basis. And it's thousands of people, and it's billions of dollars. We're getting rid of a lot of things that we never wanted because of the fact that they made this stupid move. And they don't want to talk about it. You know, they have their day coming up. I hear very few people are going to be there, by the way. But they have their day coming up, and they want to have their day in the sun. But they should.
I think he's talking about the No Kings protest that's coming up this Friday. By the way, if you're attending a No Kings protest, please make sure for it to be a peaceful protest, okay? There hasn't been, this is one of the largest and most peaceful protests I've ever seen, but this administration is trying to paint this upcoming protest, which will be one of the largest, as an Antifa attack. He's labeled these protests as part of Antifa. This is really dangerous because what he can do is he's going to try to either insurrect violence or cause somebody to be violent, or they may plant somebody that can cause some violence. We never know what can happen. Either way, they're going to try to blame the Democrats and Antifa and all this, which is kind of insane. I mean, he's already stated and proclaimed Antifa as a terrorist organization. Okay, I don't affiliate myself with Antifa. I don't really agree with a lot of things that people that do label themselves as Antifa members. I don't agree with a lot of things that they do, but it's not a real organization. Okay, it's not even a real thing. It's just a group of people that want to label themselves as that, and then they go on and do bad things. Okay, so this is really not the case with the No Kings protest, but right now they're setting up the stage, and you can see them talking about it here. They're setting up the stage to then make people believe that this is an Antifa event, and that probably something's going to happen. Okay, so just keep that in mind. We'll see what happens this October 18th. We'll see if this administration really tries to cause an issue, or they're just going to let people protest peacefully. All right. Okay. Let's finish up the clip.
Really make a deal. So what we're doing, I mean, they call him Darth Vader, but he's actually a very nice person, Russell Vogt. But Russell Vogt is really terminating tremendous numbers of Democrat projects. There's not only jobs, I mean, the project in Manhattan, the project in New York.
And he goes on and on to list a number of projects that they are terminating because, according to him, they are projects from the Democrats. And he even says that Schumer worked hard for 20 years to get some of them. All right. So what does this tell us? This is really telling, but I feel like, I mean, I shouldn't, but I feel like we have to break this down for some people to understand what this means, what this tells us from what he's trying to accomplish. So, firstly, this is a very obvious and open admission that Trump is persecuting government employees. He mentioned jobs, and then he quickly pivoted to programs, but he knows that it's not just programs, it's jobs, right? And he's doing this, persecuting government employees for their political affiliations. You heard him say they want the people that they want to get paid. And who does he want to get paid? Do you really think Trump wants Democrats to get paid? We have to look at the facts. The fact is that Trump hates Democrats. He doesn't care if you're American. Being American is not enough. You have to be a hardcore MAGA Republican. Because not even a Republican is enough. You have to be a hardcore MAGA person to be at the good side of Trump. Okay? So it's very obvious Trump is persecuting government employees for their political affiliation. This is discrimination. And this is a First Amendment violation. I mean, the Constitution protects the right to political belief and expression, and protects government employees from having their political views as part of a condition of their employment. I mean, who wants their political affiliations to be a part of their employment, right? When you go to a job interview, if the person that's interviewing me, if one of the questions they say is, who did you vote for on the last election? Or better yet, let me ask a question that is actually being asked of people that are being recruited by the government. And that is, which of Trump's agenda items, or something to that effect, which of Trump agenda's items are your favorite, and how will you support it? And these are things that are being asked of some of our government employees that are being recruited into government, right? So why do we want a government who employs only the people that they affiliate with. And what will happen to them? I mean, does Trump think that he's going to be in power forever? Does he think that Democrats are not going to go back in power? And what kind of precedent is he setting for future presidents? I mean, this is all just terrible. He's not going to, he may try, he wants to. I know he wants to. And he trolls about it all the time. But I think there's some truth to the fact that he wants to stay in the presidency for probably forever until, he's gone. But, and then just set up one of his goons that can take over for him, or maybe just watch as the Trump lineage starts to take over American politics and we end up with the Trump regime, right? So, and these are things that are very possible, by the way. We are not trying to be cynical in any way, but are things that have happened in other countries and may happen here if we let it happen. All right. We have to speak out against these things. So this guy's trying to fire people, make for their political views, and government employees are having their rights essentially violated. We have this. We also have this Civil Service Reform Act, the Hatch Act. All of these are protections to avoid the politicization of government employees. Now, can we trust what we can't? Let me say this, okay? We can't trust our government to hire based on their merits. We really can't. Not right now. I feel that we used to be able to. I think we were doing a good job at hiring based on merits, but instead they're hiring people, and they will hire people based on their political affiliation, based on their loyalties to the president. And isn't this buying votes through government employment guarantees? If you vote for me, if you vote for my party, if you are loyal to the president, you can be a government employee. I mean, as if being a government employee is not appealing enough by itself, because I'll be honest, it's really not until you're there is when you realize, wow, there's a lot of things as a government employee that really I wish weren't there. But sadly, that's the reality of it. But isn't this buying the votes of people when you say, well, if you affiliate yourself to us, if you have our own views, if you have our own agendas, if you have loyalty to the president of the United States, you can have a job with us. If that's not a violation of our rights, I don't know what is. Secondly, that was just the first part. Okay, I think this is the longest video I've ever done. But we'll be done. I think I may be cutting these into different segments to not make the podcast so long. But if you want to watch the full episode, you can go into Apple Podcasts or Spotify to listen to the whole episode. Okay. And by the way, I don't think I've said on this segment, so make sure to share, like, and subscribe. It really helps us out. We're slowly growing, but we are making a voice for everybody, for the American workforce, and for every single American, regardless of political affiliation. So please make sure to share, like, and subscribe and help us out fulfill this mission. All right. Well, secondly, their priority is to pay gun personnel. Now listen to this. Okay. Trump wants to pay the people that he wants to get paid. And the people that he's interested in getting paid is the FBI agents, but not everybody, but especially the ones that are able to carry guns, that are able to make arrests. Okay. He wants our military to get paid. And don't get me wrong, I want these people to get paid too. Okay. I do not want a single government employee to not get paid. I want everybody to get paid. Okay. But he's made a special exemption for these people. And there's a reason. Okay. These are people who will accomplish the mission of the president, because if they don't do it, they will lose their pay just like the rest of the federal workforce. What does that mean? It means that Trump has at his disposal a literal army, not just the military, but the federal workforce that he can threaten with not getting paid if they don't do his bidding. Okay? So we have to wake up to the fact that Trump is testing the waters here, weakening our rights, strengthening the powers of the FBI and the military personnel, so that they can jail you for not agreeing with this narrative. You know, if you're not a hardcore MAGA follower, you may be at risk to be in jail, right? And he's got the means to do it. This is very dangerous. This is a dictatorial ploy, and it is a pathway to keep not the Republican Party, but MAGA in power, no matter the cost. Okay, so keep your eyes open. Let's look at this fact. And lastly, this should tell you, if nothing else has told you this, if you've come to this point and you still haven't realized this, I don't know where you live. I don't know. You're not paying attention. Okay. But thirdly and lastly, this should tell you that Trump lies. Okay. The fact is that not all FBIs are being paid. Only those that Trump wants to get paid. Those with armed guns, like we said, that can make arrests. Those who he can call upon if he so wishes to enforce whatever crazy edict he declares. That makes me think about this upcoming No Kings rally, right? It's important for him to have, he's already federalized our military once or twice, a couple of times, and he might try to do it again. He may try to use all the tools at his disposal because he doesn't like anybody talking against him, right? So he wants these people with armed guns who can make arrests, he can call upon if he so wishes to enforce whatever crazy that he declares. These are the people he's interested in getting paid. He doesn't care about the FBI. He cares about having a way to enforce his rules no matter the cost. If he openly lied to the press about paying all of the FBI employees, as he said, what else is he lying about? Can you trust a man who lies in front of the camera? Makes us wonder what things he says and does behind them. You know, sadly, we already know that he will never admit any wrongdoing or saying the wrong things, because when caught, he will call that locker room talk, and that's disgusting.
You brag that you have sexually assaulted women. Do you understand that?
No, I didn't say that at all. I don't think you understood what was said. This was locker room talk.
All right. Well, 2 weeks into this government shutdown, and one thing is clear: this isn't about money. It's about power and control. It's about silencing the workers, the government workers, politicizing their jobs, and dividing Americans against each other. Okay? But no one deserves to lose their livelihood because of politics. No one deserves to be treated as disposable. We need a government that doesn't work for the rich and powerful, but for the people. All right? So that's all for today's episode. Again, thank you guys so much for watching. Please remember to share, like, and subscribe as we are building a powerful platform for the forgotten, the abused, the working class Americans that are what truly make our nation great. All right? Stay safe. God bless. And remember, we are not giving up until the next time.